Well, before the surgery, it was just the way I was eating. It was just disorganized. I wasn't eating. There was just too much time between meals, and then I would overeat. I wasn't making healthy food choices. So I had a really poor relationship with food in regards to like emotionally eating as well. I was eating away like if I was happy, I was eating. If I was sad, I was eating. And then that was also like weird relationship with my husband. We that was our love language too. So we would like sit and eat together and it wasn't always the healthiest options. I struggled with trying to get motivation to just do things around the house, much less, let's not even talk about hitting a gym and working out. I never would see myself as being someone that would like regularly work out or much less enjoy working out. So that was definitely like before the surgery. And also like when we talk about like personality wise before the surgery, there was just a lot of doubt, self-doubt, a lot of, being very hard on myself, not being very confident and just like a shell of a person, like just very submissive, very quiet, internalizing a lot of my frustrations and my struggles, not really like looking for help or
Mm.
reaching out for help. After the surgery, I mean, I don't think my family, neither myself, were prepared for the huge difference in the weight loss. I think that I thought maybe after a year and a half, I would be like, oh, I'm at my goal weight. Like it took a year to get here, but no, like 6 months probably. And I'm being generous. I was at my goal weight. And that's when I started scrambling because I'm like, what now? This happened way too fast. I'm like a completely different person. I actually approached people and I'm like, hey, and they're looking at me like, who is this person? Do I know you? So I'm still dealing with that because I forget. For everyone else, I'm a different person, but for me, I'm Vanessa. So I have to like catch myself sometimes, like, oh, this person doesn't. This is really awkward. But immediately after the surgery, there was still a lot of that, low confidence, a lot of self-doubt, that black and white mindset of like, so I did my surgery out of the country. So, you do your surgery and they basically, here's the packet, go out into the real world. Good luck. I did have a bariatric team that I could talk to, but I could never get like a straight answer. It was very black and white. So I developed that black and white mindset. And it was really hard to rewire my brain after that. And that's when I started having concerns about my mental health and what that would look like a couple of years down the line because I was very rigid and structured and very fearful of regain. Even though I wasn't gaining any weight, I was at the perfect weight. But that fear of, this may be the honeymoon period. What if that honeymoon period's over and I have to put in the work? So then I was overworking my body. I was over exercising. I think I was doing like 5 to 6 weight training sessions a week and active rest days which consisted of me doing some kind of cardio, which was like jogging or yeah, mostly jogging or running, but never really resting. I don't know. I just felt like I was very hard on myself and I was just very
Yeah.
structured.
You
Yeah.
were very controlled. Remember, you were
Yeah.
counting calories,
Yeah. Yeah. I was
weighing
that
your food,
I was
and
weighing, yeah, I
your
had a scale. The counting of the calories was just too time consuming. My husband would look at me and be like, this is not normal. Like that it's just it was late at night. It would be like 10 p.m. and I am chopping up the veggies and weighing them and putting them in the for the next day just so I know that my macros were in place. It was just not a realistic way to live. So I think that that's what like really motivated me because I working in the mental health field for many years, I know how important that is. And I said, I need to get some reassurance and some guidance on this because I'm concerned what this would look like a couple of years down the line. So I found you on social media. I follow a lot of bariatric, content on social media, and I found you on Instagram. And I had followed you for I want to say like a month or two. And then that's when I reached out and I said, hey, like, do you work with the patient? Like, do you take on clients? And yeah, it's been very helpful. I mean, the biggest thing for me was stop weighing myself all the time. I think that's one thing that I was doing like every day, every other day. Just being very hard on myself if I saw that scale go up, even though physically, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I was looking fine, but I was just very like, what, why these 2 extra pounds? What did I do wrong? So one of the biggest breakthroughs for me was that I stopped weighing and tracking all of my foods, stopped weighing myself, and just applying that 80/20 method that you taught me was just so helpful because I was able to successfully learn to just plate my foods with balance to the point where I had like a visual reassurance that I was fine, that I didn't have to put it in an app and be told like you did good, So I just I learned that yes, I have to prioritize protein, but I also have to prioritize fiber and that carbs are not a bad thing, that I need the carbs, especially if I'm working out as much as I am. So I was able to, because that was another thing. I was tracking a banana on the app that threw off my macros completely because bananas had too many carbs and it's like, well, this isn't life. Like, what did I do to myself? And I was miserable. I was like, this is only a year in, like this is for the rest of my life. And I can't have a banana, or I have to have a quarter of a banana. It was just bizarre. So now I can enjoy food. I can scale back on the weight training, which I have. I think I do like when I mean, right now I'm not working out, but 2 to 3 times a week weight training. I'm running now or jogging with a group of friends now on the weekends, and then maybe sprinkle in like a couple times a month yoga. I think I'm good. Like, I don't think I need more than that. And I would have never, ever stopped working out if I hadn't started talking to you, Van, because I would have just been obsessive about like burning these calories for the day.
Absolutely. You were very all or nothing, and you were
Yes.
so hard on yourself. And I think when you came to me, you were like, oh my God, how long do I have to track for? And I said, I want you to stop tracking. I want you to stop weighing yourself. I got you to stop doing everything.
Yeah.
And I said, I just want you to look at your plate and just say, that's a good balance for me today. And when I exercise, that's an even better balance for me rather than having to count calories, weigh your food. And I can remember you telling me that your husband was saying, oh my God, is this what it's going to be like for the rest of my life? And I was like, no, it doesn't have to be. But the thing is, these are all the things that you have taken before you had surgery. These are all the things that you did. It's part of the dieting mindset. Count your calories, cut out carbs. You've got to be on a strict diet. You can't enjoy your food. You can't enjoy your life. You have to be miserable when you're on a diet. If you want to be slimmer and healthier, you can't be happy. And they're the messages that go around in a lot of people's minds when they have surgery or if they're just trying to lose weight. So I'm just glad, from going from chaos and control, we are now at order and freedom. Everything is regulated, it's planned, it's intentional. And as a result of that, that 80/20 rule gives you that freedom. Then it's becoming more intuitive to your needs. And I think that is amazing for you. And I just absolutely love the transformation. So for you.
I just don't doubt myself as much as I used to. The one-on-one coaching calls are very helpful. And it's funny because like what started off as like, I need some reassurance on my foods. And it also like emotionally, like learning that I do have confidence to go out there and put myself out there, make new friends, and like just accepting the new me too, because the personality change is quite big. The confidence and the I'm not taking anything from anybody anymore, setting those boundaries with family and friends and things like that, like that's been very helpful. And I no longer doubt myself in that aspect. And then just trusting that I'm going to do what I need to do without having to overdo it. Like, I know that I can eat these meals and that if I'm not working out, then I just have to. Do I really need that extra snack? No, I don't need that extra snack because I'm not working out. And just being able to just relax my mind about those things and not stress myself out. And I, indulge in a dessert if I want to. I think that was like because I love food. I've always loved food. And like everyone else, I want to enjoy food again. But the way the surgical team was making it make it out to be, it's like try to like not season your foods too much, try to use a little bit of oil. Not to say I'm using a whole bunch of oil, but the way they made it seem, it was like very like strict. Now I just cook like I usually cook, just make wiser choices. Like plate my foods with mostly protein, mostly fiber, and a little bit of carbs. And I'm satisfied and I enjoy it. And if I want to have an alcoholic drink, then I'm gonna have an alcoholic drink. If I want to have a cheesecake, a slice of cheesecake, and it doesn't have to be sugar free and it doesn't have to be, with stevia. It can be regular sugar. Like it's not an everyday thing. And it's okay. I can have that because I don't indulge in that every day. So I don't think I would have ever be able to do that before. I don't weigh myself anymore. I think that I weigh myself now just to track like my muscle. Before, if I saw the scale go up, I would be like, what am I failing at? Now it's like, I like to see that scale go up because that means I build muscle. Like that's a good and positive thing. If anything, if I weigh myself, I'll probably weigh myself next week and be like, oh, I lost weight. I know that that was not fat loss. That was muscle loss because I haven't worked out. So it's crazy how my mind has completely shifted. And I love that. I feel more free. Just do it. Just do it. I'm very careful on social media because I know that certain groups have certain rules about like sharing links and stuff like that. But if I check the rules and I just tell everybody, I'm like, I worked with the dietologist. She's absolutely amazing. She freed me from so much. Um, your experience is invaluable and your knowledge. I feel like it's not just the education that you provide and the modules and things like that. Like even like something as simple as like where we started with the size of the plates back way back when and where we are now, like I didn't know that, but now knowing that information, it just helps to like shift your mind. And I even educated my husband on that. I'm like, just because they sell 10-inch plates doesn't mean we have to fill up 10-inch plates. And when we eat out, I tell my husband and my kids, I'm like, listen, like just because they filled up a whole entire plate of food, that doesn't mean you have to finish the whole thing. If you're full, just listen to your body and stop. We can always take a doggy bag, or if it's not worth taking home, we just leave it behind. But we feel this guilt to like eat everything off the plate, but it's not healthy. We shouldn't. And I just, that if you have any doubts, like I just want to say, just do it. Don't doubt it because your knowledge is just it's been so helpful. Like I can't even describe it. I think it's the support, the one-to-one support. Like it's not like I'm not an extra patient. Like I'm not just a number on a file. It's personalized. It's more than just like, all right, it was nice, have a nice life. Like, no, like who I am, who Vanessa is, that I'm a mother, that I'm a friend, that I'm a daughter. Like, all these things by actually trying to get to know me. And it's not just, what are you doing about your foods? What are you doing about your weight? It's like, what's going on in your life? Because it all ties in together. And getting to know our history too is very important. And I just 1000% hands down recommend you to everybody that needs the
Oh,
help.
that's so kind, and thank you so much. You really are. Like I said, you came to me, you'd lost a lot of weight, and you were doing everything of the chaos
Mhm,
and the control because that's what you knew as a kid. Because you
mhm.
were that caged lion, right?
Yeah.
Controlled, and then you left and you were let out, and the chaos started. And it was for me to come in and sort of like just hold your hand and say, look, you know what? We're going to get some order and freedom. And at first it's like, what? You mean I can eat these foods? Yeah, just trust me. Get rid of those weighing scales. You don't need to weigh your food. Just look at your plate. All those years. And, look at the transformation. I was looking at your before and after pictures. And I was like, wow.
I know.
That's why no one can recognize you.
No.
But you
Yeah,
know
I
what?
grew
I
up
still
alone.
see a beautiful person in
Thank
the
you.
larger version of you, but I see such a vulnerability.
Yes.
I see someone that's lost, hurting,
Hmm.
but
Absolutely.
keeping up a face for your children. But I still see a really beautiful woman, just a bit lost, a bit vulnerable. That's all. But she's still beautiful. But my God, you turned into a powerhouse. I feel sorry for your husband.
It
Not
took
too
him a
much.
while to adjust. It really did. It was hard on him to see the huge change because he met me when I was or I mean not as big as I ended up being towards the end, but I was always a thick woman for him. And I don't think that he would have cared either way. I think it was just such a drastic change. Even my children were like my daughter, she was like, Mom, I liked it better when you were fat because that's all she knew, you know? And now it's like, oh, Mom, you look amazing. Like now it's just like normal and we've normalized it. But the first, 4 or 5 months, it was such a big and drastic change. I didn't expect any of that. And I think it just like turned the house upside down a little bit because it's like, who's this stranger living in our home? And then the personality change too. It's like, no, I'm not gonna let you do these things, or no, I'm not okay with this. And I speak up more. And I was never one to speak up and speak my mind. And I was really like torturing myself because if I didn't like something, I would just keep it to myself. And it was just like, and then I would just like internally like cry essentially, and I would never let it out. And then when I would get angry, it would come out a lot more vulnerable than I would like because I would just cry out of frustration. Now I'm angry at myself for crying instead of relaying to that person, I'm upset. But no, I'm just this vulnerable mess. Now it's different. Now it's like I can just be direct with, respectfully, but being direct about how I feel. And for my family and especially my husband, who's never had someone be like that, it was just like, what? And I had to be like, you know what? This is me. Get used to it. And he did. And I think he respects me more for it. It was just like he had to take a step back and be like, this is different.
Oh, honestly, just amazing. The training that you do, and also understanding now that, if you need to rest because you've got a twisted ankle at the moment, haven't you? So
Yeah.
knowing that you've got to rest, and I know that is painful for you, not just the fact that you've got twisted ankle, but painful that you can't exercise. But the universe delivers what you need at that moment in time, and maybe you needed to slow down. So it's caused a little injury for you, which I know you will get over, but that's how it is, right? We have sometimes a lot of this journey is about acceptance as well, that it's not all up and high and
Right.
all flowers and roses. There's some lows that come with it, with relationships, friendships. There's a lot of sacrifice at times, right?
Yeah. But even like what you just said right now about me not working out because of my twisted ankle before, I used to be like, oh my God, like stressed out, like I can't work out. This is not good. Like I'm gonna gain weight. Now it's like, oh, I wish I could work out. I miss working out. Like my body kind of wants to work out, but it's like it's not because I am stressing myself out that I need to work out. It's just like I'm so used to doing it now. It's part of my lifestyle and it's a positive, good thing. But if I'm not doing it this week, it is what it is. We'll pick it up next week. And I think that was another thing that I was scared of, that if there was too much time between workouts, that I would never go back to it because I was doing it because I had to. And I was worried that if there was like a dry period, that I would not pick it up again. Now it's like I think that was that 1 month that I didn't work out, and it was between holiday and work and kids and everything. I wasn't able to for a whole month, and even you were like shocked. You were like, "You didn't work out for a month?" And she's like, "How do you feel about that?" And I was like, "I'm okay. I'll just make sure to work out next week." And I did. I think you saw me on Instagram like going at my weights again, like nothing. And I love that I can trust myself now that, okay, I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm doing it because I actually enjoy it and because like I need to for my mental health. Like I have a love relationship with working out now.
So there you go. It's like habit stacking.
Yeah.
You hydrate when you're working out, but you also work out not just for fat loss and muscle gain. You work out because mentally it makes you feel better. So that's stacking habits, and that's so important because as a working mum,
Mhm.
time is of the essence, and that's what we're all trying to buy. We're trying to buy time, but you can't buy it. So it's just a bit about being wiser and smarter with your time, getting up that little bit earlier before the kids wake up and fitting it in. Could you ever see the larger version of Vanessa doing that?
Tried for many years. I spent a like looking back, I'm like, oh my God, the amount of money that I just threw basically threw away because I signed up to memberships, I paid trainers, and I would just come up with excuses. Sorry, not feeling well, can't come in today. And it like that was a waste. But it wasn't my time to do it. I wasn't mentally prepared to do it, and now I can, and I do. And if anything, I think I'm a good role model for the kids because now, like, they'll look at their foods and they'll be like, "Mom, I ate all my protein first," because I'm like prioritize protein,
But
and
that's
they're like,
because
modeling these things
you
now.
found your why, Vanessa.
Mhm.
Before you were lost, you didn't know why you were doing it. You just thought, I just want weight loss.
Yeah.
I think you really deep down have found your why. The weight loss isn't just about changing shape. It's
Mhm.
about how your personality has changed, how your children see you as a role model. It's about creating this lifestyle, these habits. So that's your why. And
Yeah,
I think
health.
before you didn't have, why do I need to do it when I'm okay being this size? But sometimes we need something that makes it all fall to bits. We hit rock bottom and we make a decision. And then once we hit rock bottom, there's only one way, and that's up.
After photos that I sent, oh no, before photos that I sent you, one of those 3 photos, that was the last straw for me, seeing that photo. Because when you
Ah,
take a selfie, you pose. So you post and you get the best angle of yourself. But that was a photo taken from someone and I wasn't expecting it. So when that photo came to me, I just was like, when did I let it get this far? And at that point, I was already having health issues. I was, fatty liver disease, the sleep apnea, sleeping with that machine at 30. I think I started at like 31 wearing that machine, and it was so annoying. My husband hated it. When I wore the mask, air blew out of the back of his head. And it was like we were miserable, and I just huffing and puffing. I couldn't walk for long periods of time. I couldn't go up the stairs without like huffing and puffing. And I was like, I'm too young to be like this. And now I look at my BMI and I'm like, oh, I'm 35 and it says I'm 33. What? I love that. And my fatty liver disease is, corrected. Sleep apnea is gone. I sleep like a baby now. Okay, you don't hear a peep from me anymore.
oh, Vanessa, so many good things has come from having the surgery, from working together, and we continue to work together in the membership. And you inspire so much of the community with your food and showing your training and what you do. That I just want to thank you for everything that you bring to us as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.